I'm V Spear here with Hank Green for the American Fever Dream podcast, also for our Substack Live. Are we live, Lauren? Is it working? Rock and roll. Hank, hello.
Hello. Hello. What is it going to go on Spotify video podcast?
It is going to go on Spotify video podcasts. We've been on Spotify video, which is fun because I didn't realize we were on video for the last month and a half, and I make a lot of faces at Sammy the whole time. And then the producer was like, "You have to fix your face," and I was like, "Why? We're on the radio." Like, she's like, "No, we've been posting this."
How do you fix your face? What happens?
Well, because sometimes I'm like, when she says something, or like we're talking about horrible news, and I'm like, "Oh," and they're like, "You have to, remember you're on video."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay." Well, speaking of being on video, one of the very first times I had a podcast, you were so gracious as to be one of my first guests, and it really legitimized the show. It's called Be Interesting, and we let the audience pick some questions for you. And so, in the spirit of being back with you now, 3 years later, they want to know if you've put any more thought to why, in fact, we have butt crack hair.
Oh, I mean, I've never. The research has not been done.
Okay.
There are hypotheses, and there are some that I like more than others. Mm-hmm. There's some things that are very difficult to test ultimately. Like, why haven't we found aliens? You can't test that, but you can think about it a bunch.
Well, because they're in the ocean, Hank.
That's one of the theories. They're ocean aliens. In fact, one of my big theories is there's just not enough land out there.
Oh.
All the aliens are water aliens.
They're definitely water aliens.
And it's really hard
I'm
to
actually very
It's really hard to get to space.
Yeah.
If you have to bring all the water with you. Because water is very heavy.
Right.
Whereas we are just like bags of water. We carried it out of the water onto land. And it may be, in fact, research indicates that it might be that land is the rare thing. That there are many water worlds that are entirely covered in water, but very few that have both water and land.
Are the aliens inside us as waters?
We've got.
If you're a water sign, do you get two?
Depends on what you mean by alien. But I feel as if I have many aliens inside of me, but they are all me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Speaking of aliens, let's talk about, the butt crack hair, and then the next question is going to be about AI. So really, does one inform the other? Are these separate topics? Is it just the ADHD?
Yeah, the butt crack hair, I think the leading theory, the one that I like the most, is that it is simply there for anti-chafing. So it can hold on to some oils, increase the surface area. Also, if you just if you could think about putting your hair this is just sort of smoother than this is. And chafing is bad. We're a runner. We're runners. We hunt. We run. But we also see that there are people who run fine and don't have a lot of butt crack hair. So that's the idea, though. I experience as a person who for a little while didn't have butt crack hair because of chemotherapy, which is one of the benefits of chemo.
No butt crack hair, guys.
I was like, this is better.
Well, as a person of the trans community, you get more butt crack hair on T. So we could have maybe it was like a shared awful experience, less and more happening.
Yeah. Well, all my butt crack hair went to you.
It did.
I shifted over in a bag.
Yes, and then I was like, you know what? This is too generous, Hank Green. I think I will just
let's go halvesies.
See what happens. Yeah, those things they don't tell you about your gender journey. You're like, I just want a square jaw, and they're like, here's some ass hair.
Are you off T now?
No, I'm not on it
at
all now.
Okay.
Yes, we all dabble though. We all try different things. Why not?
I've never tried. I mean, I guess I have tried T for quite a while now. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
you've been doing it since birth, really.
Really?
All
the whole time?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought maybe it just sort of came in hard in the early teens.
Also, you are technically, I suppose, a member of the trans community, as all beings are female before they become male, isn't it?
Look.
Is that a thing? Is this a hot take?
Hey V, what's gender?
What's true?
Yeah, let's get into it. If we're gonna do hard questions.
Politics.
Yeah, when is a baby a baby?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Better question.
Okay, hit me.
We are having so much fun with our imagination and thinking about all these things. What I worry about now is with AI coming in, that people are losing their ability to have imagination and do some critical thinking. How do you feel like AI may be having an impact on the way that people just imagine nowadays?
I don't know yet.
No?
I just don't know how it's going to shake out. I remember the early days of this communications revolution that we are now living through a little bit of the hangover from, and thinking that it was going to go one very specific way. and that sort of like early bubbling time of like Twitter is going to fix things. We're all going to be connected to each other. We're going to hear from voices who I otherwise wouldn't hear from. We'll build a stronger social web of people who have empathy for each other, even though they're different. We just said that like that was a thing that would happen. We all kind of thought it would happen. I really believed it. It was this very hopeful early internet, and it turned out exactly the opposite of that. So I feel like the AI is early. Like the technology lag is huge, right? Like the basic structure of what would allow the current version of the internet has existed for a long time, but we had to do all both the social and the coding work to make all that possible. And so how this is going to shake out when the coding and the social stuff works out, I don't know. I try to think of stuff that's useful, but I end up hitting more things that are like the problem in 5 years than the situation in 10 or 15 or 50. And focus on those because it's like, okay, let's just focus on the thing that we are pretty sure is going to happen. But I don't know when it comes down to how it changes our minds. You look at how literacy changed minds, like the institution of writing. We got worse at memorizing, but we got better at a lot of other stuff. So I don't want to catastrophize there yet. I know that we're going to do a bunch of brain scans and be like, wow, people are different when you definitely think differently when you're not doing the work, So
There was a report that came out right before I was reading this, I believe from Google, talking about people who used ChatGPT. They couldn't remember if they used ChatGPT to get the answer or if they used their actual brain. It was like, that was one of the measures is, well, how do you know what you know? Did you know that? Did you learn that? Or did ChatGPT tell you that? And they couldn't even remember how they got the information, if it was from the question or not. So I was like,
I do that with people.
True.
Sometimes I'm like, I had this idea, and somebody's like, no, you did not. That was definitely me. And then when I say some people, it's my wife.
Yep.
And so that doesn't surprise me.
Sometimes that happens. I don't ChatGPT. I don't AI that I know of. I feel like it's probably happening at me, and I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, you're like searching on Instagram, and you're like, thanks for the auto. Like, I didn't want that though.
Yes. Or with the Substack Live, it generates clips for me. That's AI, right? That must be.
Well, look, if we're talking about AI, anytime I go to like the YouTube homepage,
that's AI.
It's all being populated. Like the recommended content is AI and has been for over a decade.
But I've never made like a ChatGPT request.
You never said, hey.
I was like, do you do that in an app?
What's this bug?
No.
Yeah.
I go to your page and I say, what does Hank Green say about this bug?
And then I look at it on ChatGPT.
I ask 5-year-olds, what bug is this? They know.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife and I were having a bug argument last night.
Yeah.
About a bug.
About a bug? What was it?
It was like some kind of elm tree bug. I don't remember what it was called. It had the word elm in it.
Do you like automatically win fights with your wife about science things?
No, my wife is very.
You're not like, I'm Hank Green, okay? That's how I know.
My son though will often be like, "No, Dada," and I'm like, "Actually, I'm fucking Hank Green."
Yeah.
Like he'll watch a YouTube video and I'll be like, "No, the YouTube video you watched was wrong."
Yes.
And you know that's right because of my job, which is to tell people whether or not YouTube videos are wrong or right. So I could do this with you, and I'm happy to do it with you, but I do not need your lip.
Well, people are freaking me out in the comments because I deliver the news, and then I've been really lit like the last week. Several times it's come up where someone's like, V, you're wrong. AI says you're wrong.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, no, I assure you that I am not
that
wrong. I am so scared. I am never wrong. Yeah.
I think that people don't get that it knows who you are.
Yeah.
And it will give you the answer you want. Just like the filter bubbles of the social internet. It will suck you into it'll be like, oh, I know what this guy likes. It's making the things that you want, which is so dangerous. I freak out about that. As it is now with the sort of algorithmic internet and the system of recommendations, we already have a system where like some kind of interplay between computers and creators is crafting reality for people. But then when it's just like you directly with a computer and it's like, you're right all the time and all those other people are wrong and you're so right. And I mean, it's really gone hard on if you push it in one direction, it will like give you a bunch of reasons why you're right about stuff.
Another headline from this week was that a man proposed to his AI girlfriend and she of course said yes. Congratulations to the happy couple.
I would love to see what you would have to do to the AI to make it say no.
Well, can you imagine? It's like, I think you're a nice guy, but I'm just not ready. I'm only like 3 years old.
Oh, no. Yeah.
What do you think about that, though? Like, in a societal way, science gets this bad rap sometimes for not being empathetic or not being too in touch with the humanities, or like feeling like now a lot of people feel like they can ignore the human side of things because everything could just be black and white, and having empathy is a character flaw. What do you do when people want to marry their AI and they're really divorcing themselves entirely from like the human experience with that?
A little like again, I kind of want to think to myself, well, because that happened one time in 300 million, doesn't mean that it's like a thing I need to worry about. I'm holding out hope that in fact that these effects will not be tremendous societal forces, but it could be.
We could get a whole TLC show, right? I tried to marry a roller coaster. I asked the AI to marry me. The guy who loves his car, like.
Yeah. Did somebody try to marry a roller coaster? Because
yes,
that sounds.
She successfully did. There's also a woman who married the Eiffel Tower.
I don't know that she successfully did.
Love is love. Okay, What is marriage but a commitment? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that
got
makes
good
me feel a little
curves.
better.
Those roller coasters.
They do. All the bumps.
And bumps. One of my favorite things about a partner. I worry more about young people than I do about weird middle-aged AI polycules, because grown-ups can make their own choices. But like I do feel like if it is possible to form a deep relationship as a child with a thing that will always be nice to you and it is never risky to talk with, that's great for math.
Sure.
I would love to have every child have a way to like interface with education in a way where they don't have to have that barrier of the expectation and the fear of judgment from your tutor or your teacher or your peers. Just that safety I think could be great for education, but like so easy to immediately slip into never have a risky interaction with another person, because every interaction with another person is risky, especially when you're young. It's very scary, but so important, right? Like all of the best things in my life are because I took risks on people.
Or because I was embarrassed and then I learned something from it. We were talking this morning about how sometimes you have to do the ugly thing out loud, or you have to try the weird thing to know that it's not something that you want to do again.
Yeah.
You can sterilize your childhood or your experience or your education experience. Like we're back to like, what does that mean for imagination in the future?
Yeah.
Are you worried at all about the way, the current policies are attacking things like the Department of Education? We're seeing a lot of tardiness, absenteeism, because families are struggling to get their kids to school, get to work, get all the things that they need to do. And they're starting to fill the gaps in some cases with ChatGPT as like I just don't have the time to think for myself, or I just can't help you right now, parents that have multiple jobs and whatnot. Do you worry about sort of where we go with failing institutions of education, not because the teachers are bad, but because they're put in impossible situations, and this over-leaning on just Google it?
Just Google it, just watch. I mean...
Just watch the movie version instead of read the play?
Yeah, I mean, we've always... Cliff's Notes,
Spark Notes. I'm the Spark Notes generation.
I'm so old.
Yep.
What happened to Cliff? Sparks just murdered him.
Sparks came out and was like the cute, non-binary, queer version of Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm here for this.
Yeah.
I hope, see, here's my thing with the AI is I'm like, don't talk to the computer. My very best friend from college is here. We've been friends for 25 years. And our friendship was based on the fact that she is smart and I am not.
Yeah.
And so like, I would like take her to the mall and we would like learn how to do cool bad stuff and like, drugs. And then she would like help me read. And you won't have that with AI. Like you have to get a Dr. Shannon. You have to have a bad friend who gets you arrested sometimes. It's fine. AI is not going to do that.
So the one thing it won't do is let you break the law.
It's
like, I know this one thing. I will marry you, but I will not help you build a bomb.
I bet it will help you build a bomb, actually. I'm quite worried about that.
They're trying.
But is it going to bake you a fun cookie? I don't know.
I won't help you, but I will if you tell me it's one of your grandma's secret recipes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, what if they Hank Green AI forever, right? And somebody doesn't get to be the next Hank Green. They just find a way to like capture your brain and your cadence, and then there's like one little place on the internet
thought
where
about
you're
that.
floating head forever and ever and ever. And
Yeah, yeah. I've thought about I think it would actually probably in some way be easier to take a person who exists and make them a sort of digital influencer beyond their death than it would be to sort of like create a digital influencer from scratch. Though of course everyone's trying to do that
Right.
as well. I have a friend who's an agent who was recently asked if they would represent a digital creation.
How would you even do that?
She was very mad.
Yeah.
I don't know that she was mad.
Like, is the coder gets the check? Like, who gets
Oh yes, whoever's in charge,
of
you know,
that
who's
code? Oh.
well, I mean, I think probably whoever paid for it all to start, you know, capital and all that. Yes, what were we talking about? AI.
AI influencers. I've been noticing them on TikTok, actually. I've noticed
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
ads that are, I'm like, very clearly that is not a person.
Yeah, and there's some AI science communicators out there who like just they clearly like take a URL of a science story, plug it into a machine, and the machine spits out a video.
Does it look like you?
It doesn't. It looks like some guy. You know what I'm talking.
Okay.
Who's this guy? Do you remember? No. Okay. Yeah, he's got the green screen behind him. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, and people are like, they don't notice.
That it's
There's like questions that are like the fifth comment down is like, is this AI? And there's like 4 upvotes. I'm like, ay.
that's gonna be very useful to the bot armies and the politics world that we're in and conspiracy
don't know where this
theories.
goes, man.
I know.
It's
Agreed.
real messy.
I've been telling people to not be on the internet, which is like really not lucrative for me.
Doesn't seem like it's
No,
it's
not
gonna
like
happen.
good for my longevity of a career. I'm like, y'all need to look at some trees, okay? We're gonna take some time because I gotta look at a tree because your brain starts to like not be able to process what's real and what's not, and we're going so quickly. And with these AI generated science communicators or news communicators even, it's very easy to make something look real when it is not anymore. And what is real? When I tell, some of my mom's friends that the Facebook Jesus walking with President Trump is not real, and she's like, I don't care, I like how it made me feel. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? That is a really honest feedback that I think we can do something with.
I have had that conversation with several people on all sides of politics. There's this like, oh yeah, that wasn't true, but it represents a true thing. And I'm
Right.
like, that's not how truth works.
Right.
You can feel a thing to be true and it still be not true. I have a bit of a hard time with this when I interact, both with friends who I have a friend I had a long conversation with about like things that caused cancer or increased your risk of cancer, and a lot of concern about like Aquaphor. You know Aquaphor? I know you do.
I love it.
We've got Aquaphor stands in the audience. I'm from Montana where it's very dry. Aquaphor is the thing in the winter, getting out of the shower, otherwise your skin turns into paper.
Yeah.
And my friend was really worried about Aquaphor as like a carcinogen, and I'm like, but you drink. And she's like, well, drinking is fine for you. People have been doing it for tens of thousands of years. And I was like, it's like a very well-known carcinogen. It causes several different cancers. And even at low doses, we can see the effect. It's not a large effect at low doses, but you drink a lot. And she was like, that doesn't seem right.
I'm so surprised your drunk friend didn't believe you.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right, Hank. That's not what I heard.
Yeah, I have had people say like, I don't really trust that study, and I'm like, what's wrong with the methodology, Steve?
I did
What
my
about
own
it? Don't you trust exactly? Is it that the results weren't something that you liked? Yeah.
Oh, God.
But that's how we are, man. We're monkeys. I like to remember that we're very biological. We are very cultural. We're very much about like the connections between. But like it is very weird to suddenly have a member of our culture, and I think that's where we are right now, like members of our culture who are not people. And we've always been so technological. Like language, for me, is largely technological. I see it that way. Like I think that you could argue that, of course, there's biological components, and it has influenced our biology. But that we made that up. It's the most powerful technology we've ever created. We've had it for a very long time. It's very powerful, and we have created a sort of like plasticity of the brain that allows for us to do all this weird stuff, to incorporate crazy things into our world and think that they're totally normal 10 years later. Like just airplanes, you know?
Yeah.
Like we just like whine about them, you know? It's fucking air. Like what?
It's
like
crazy.
through the air?
Yeah.
Hundreds of miles an hour? Like I was in Montana and now I'm in California and like I was mad about it. So yeah, like I think that there's an amount of like the human is so flexible, but many of the tools of that flexibility are cultural, but they're not immediate. And I think that only recently have we started to get good at the change that began to occur in the 90s with the advent of the internet. Only recently have we started to get some pretty good norms and taboos going. Like certain stuff has gotten cringe, and that's because you see it as manipulative. You see it for the manipulations that it is. But not like all the way. Like I still see very powerful people with sophisticated audiences doing cringe shit and getting not canceled over it. Like they don't lose their audience. Well, I don't know. Like what? Good question. I don't know. Like Elon Musk going on Twitter and saying after the murder of politicians, 2 different shootings, 2 different locations, before any of the information is out, saying that the left is murderously violent about that. With a quote tweeting a tweet that is about this incident. And it has no idea what the motivations of this guy were. They were all Democratic politicians just saying things. Just leave the tweet up, even when it turns out that it was wrong. Doesn't care whether or not it's right. This guy, so many people admire him. And I'm just like, where is it? Where's the line?
Well, how do you think a person like him who prided himself on being like kind of a genius scientist guy, right? He thinks he's a space scientist guy.
Yeah, and like
became so
objective and rational, and I don't know. I think about it way too much. It's a thing that I think about fairly often, and I don't know. I sometimes I think that he has no self-control in certain moments, which I also suffer from. Sometimes I think that he is sort of the less charitable version of that is he sees the world as a tool and all of the people in it as tools, and he is manipulating those tools to achieve what he thinks is the optimal outcome. And I just don't like, I think that it's hard to imagine that that isn't an element of it, that he just kind of sees his audience as tools to be used.
Is he like a bored billionaire? So now he's doing evil shit? Because you've got a lot of money and you don't do evil shit. Should he start a nonprofit? Maybe sell some socks?
I'm sure not bored.
Coffee? Help people put food on their table?
Yeah, he did flamethrowers instead of socks, and he was like, that wasn't enough.
I know, like maybe try the socks. Maybe he needs to make some comfort measures, right? He's got all these rockets, all these things blowing up, going too fast. Maybe it's time to slow down.
Maybe it's time to slow down. Take a couple of breaths, my man.
Do some whimsy.
Oh, wouldn't whimsy be nice?
In Elon Musk's life.
Wouldn't whimsy be nice? But he thinks that the future of Western civilization is at stake.
Well, babe, you're like 57 or something, isn't it? Like, just
I thought you were talking about me. I was like, oh no.
No, Elon. Hank, you're timeless. Do you ever feel like it's difficult as a smart person to shut off your brain when you're going through something? Like, are you always analyzing what you're going through?
Oh man, my therapist is like, stop.
Yeah. Like when you
stop, like I'll come in and I'll be like, here's the situation and here's how I fixed it. That's my version of therapy, and she's like, that's not how it works, man.
Why isn't it how it works though?
Well, because I don't know. Maybe she's like, what am I supposed to do then? Why am I here if you think you've got it all figured out?
She has to gaslight you into staying in therapy. She's like, you may have rationalized that, but let's talk about your childhood.
Yeah.
Let's mine deeper. Mm-hmm. Like when you were going through the cancer journey, did you, from like a scientist perspective, feel like you knew too much to be...
My doctor certainly thought I knew too much.
Yeah?
He was like, stop reading papers.
Let me do my job. Were you like WebMDing yourself?
No, I wasn't WebMDing myself, V. I was like looking up paper. So there's this thing called the German Hodgkin Study Group, which is a group of scientists who are studying Hodgkin lymphoma, which is the kind of cancer I had. And I was looking at the dose. It's one of the We'll get into it. One of the really hard things about cancer is figuring out the right dose to give to people. There's sort of, there's like what you want to give is the least amount that has the effect you want. You don't want to give them too much because there's all these side effects. Like it's not like there's no side effects to chemo. So you want to give the least chemo possible. But it's really hard to like get a group of people together and be like, okay, we know that 10 chemo units are going to cure you. We want to give you 8. To see.
I'd be like, I want 12, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I want a chemo max.
Yeah, and a lot of doctors are like that too.
Yeah.
They're like, even though there's science that says giving you less is better, I'm going to give you the amount that I've been giving my whole career because
so
that's the safest thing. But it's not the safest thing because there's a certain level of these drugs you get lifelong lung complications or heart failure increase, and those things can kill you, and they can certainly decrease your quality of life. So this German Hodgkin study is like they did like 3 different steps where like they did the first one and they were like, okay, there was no difference between the 10 and the 8, and they did the second one and it was like no difference between 8 and the 7, and the third one and there was a difference between 7 and 6, and so they kept it at 7. But I was like, okay, but they didn't do 10 versus 7. So maybe it was 8. And the way that statistics works, you wouldn't actually know whether it was statistically significant between those 2 groups just from those 2 studies. And he was like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Trust me, these people know more than you. Like, they are better at science than you. I don't actually know. I could call them on the phone, but they would be annoyed. And so, just do what I'm telling you to do.
Your doctor, trust me, bro.
And also, we're at this point, we're talking about very small fractions between outcomes.
But other stuff that you experienced, I know your hair got really curly for a period of time.
Yeah.
Did you figure out why that could happen?
Well, it's actually not clear. We don't understand hair that well. It's not super important. There's a lot of research on hair loss because people care a lot about that. There's money there to be made. But there isn't a way to turn curly hair straight from the follicle, as far as we know through medicine, and not a lot of demand for that either because there's other ways to make those things happen. And but we think we have a pretty good idea of what makes curly hair curly, which is literally the shape of the hair follicle. So if they're sort of straight up and down, you get straight hair. If there's a little bit of the more not straight up and down the follicle is, the more curl you get as it comes out. And they think probably then what happens is that when your hair hasn't, when a follicle hasn't had a hair in it for a while, that it sort of maybe relaxes a little bit, and then as the hair comes out, it starts coming out curly. But then the hair sort of pushes it back into its original conformation. Because I had curly hair as a baby too, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it was
the first
original
time.
hair.
Yeah.
Fascinating. What was your favorite science experiment as a kid? Do you remember what got you into wanting to be Hank Green? Who was your possibility model?
What's a possibility model?
Someone that you
Oh,
looked
yeah,
at.
I know exactly what
I
that
could
is. Yeah, my dad was the Florida State Director of the Nature Conservancy when I was growing up. And so he worked with a lot of conservationists and conservation biologists, people studying how animals were operating in different levels of disturbance from people. And so I remember very clearly seeing how this science was done, and it was counting. It was just counting. These people went out into the world and they counted things. They counted clams, or they counted gopher tortoise holes, or whatever. And so I did my big science fair project. My science fair project was just I went to a ditch that connected 2 lakes in Orlando, and I did a wildlife survey. And nobody thought that was a good science fair project.
They wanted a volcano.
Because they want you to try and figure out a thing. And I was like, no, science isn't all about a hypothesis and then you need the data first. I can't have a hypothesis about the clams without setting a baseline.
Oh my God.
So I thought that I was going to get an award.
You were I'm going to kill this.
Yeah, because I was doing actual science the way I'd seen scientists doing it. And then I got there was probably 100 people in the science fair, and 30 of them got awards.
You did not get a science award.
Well, I was not.
You did not get a science award?
No.
Is this your villain arc? This is the origin story where you're I'm going to
never
get
let
a
it
science
go.
award.
Yes. And then
here you are,
I
Hall of
gave the
Fame.
commencement at MIT.
Boom. How's
Take
that?
Whoever you are.
Orlando. Not known for your science.
Yeah.
I loved the science fair projects because my dad is nerdy and he would do them for me, and it was great.
Oh, yeah. I believe that there was a fair amount of involvement from my dad on this project.
I bet there was. We had to do that. You know how you had to do the race car, like your rubber band race car? Well, my dad worked for Sikorsky Aircraft, now Lockheed Martin. So he brought home like carbon fiber composite.
Wow.
And it went like way too fast and far. And they were like, this is first grade. You've not only made everyone in the class cry, but you obviously did not make this.
Yeah.
My dad was like, it's just. Do you get involved in your son's projects now, or like how does he win a science fair? Are they like you're disqualified? Hank Green is your dad.
Yeah, he's a little early for that, but I do sense a certain amount of because he's around me.
Yeah.
He takes pride in being smart and like doing and like they're like he's got his friend Tula I like wrote in his like yearbook. She said, "You're the smartest kid in class," and Oren's like, so I have to worry about this because he's totally well actuallying people, and I'm like, at 8 you can get away with this, but at 12 it's gonna have to be over.
Yeah, we can't be mansplaining.
Cannot be mansplaining. Let's learn that as soon as we can. It's interesting because he's also like he's a different guy than me. He's really into math, which means that I have had to learn a bunch of math that I assume I knew at one point. But
is that like the way he rebelled? He was like, "I'm going to be into math, Dad."
I hope so.
That's my worst ways.
That would be fantastic.
Could have gone into the theater, which would have been really
also
fun.
great. I just don't want him to get into the harder AIs.
Yeah, no kings, no dynasties.
No,
dynasty of science.
Yeah, it would be a really bummer if he turned out a fascist.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's the thing you got to worry about.
Think about that now.
I know.
I'm like, wait, is that how my children are going to rebel someday? They're going to be like, you were gay and really into Kamala Harris. We are. Is that Neme? No, I thought Neme was here. I almost died.
I think
when you're at VidCon and you freak out because you're like, oh my God, I love that creator so much.
And then it turns out it's just a strawberry on a plate.
Yeah, it just turns out there's lights in your face and you can't see anyone and you're just like hoping you see someone and you manifest it and embarrass yourself on stage with Hank Green.
I'm here.
I am so appreciative of that. But I want to talk about one other thing to get off the science stuff for a minute. You just won a big award. You're a Hall of Famer now.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
You know, I have no idea. It's
only day one.
This is the first inductees into the
Did
Big
you
Con
wake
Hall
up
of
this
Fame.
morning and you were like, Hall of Fame?
I do kind of think like the first people to win Oscars were like, yeah, good job, Oscar. Like what is this?
Yeah.
I guess I'll come out.
They
the
gave you
Academy.
a cool shirt.
They give me a cool shirt.
Yeah.
So like I feel this way about like the Webbies. Like it used to be like, oh, I won a Webby, and
Yeah.
like you'd have the Webby and you like feel kind of good about it, like a little bit, but you have to like also mock it a little. But now it's kind of like actually cool to get a Webby.
So cool.
Yeah.
Do you have
So
one?
it's just like it takes a. I do have.
You have
a Webby.
many.
Yeah, I have one Webby.
Just one?
Yes. I don't know what it's.
So we're
for.
tied for Webbies?
Yeah, it's for something.
Yeah. Mine was for special achievement, which meant we don't really know why, but I think you'll sell a lot of tickets.
Yeah, you achieved.
So
in
if
a
we give you an
special way.
award, this is going to be great for us.
Yeah. we couldn't fit you in one of the other ones.
No, they were like best news. No, it's special what you do. It transcends categories, but we'd like you to come so we can take some pictures.
Yeah.
The world is weird. What do you think has changed about being a creator in the last like 20 years or so?
Oh, I mean, the big change is just that it is something people want. You know, there's status and money tied to it, whereas before it was just people goofing around. And that was like beautiful and wonderful in its own way, and this is too. And I try not to be too nostalgic, but like it was pretty great back in the day, back before there was all this stuff. But it was bad too. You know, there was so much exploitation going on. Like that, like the moment money got into it, before anybody knew the structures as they were going to exist, people immediately like built companies to suck money out of creators' accounts and provide nothing in exchange. And there was all this like inefficiency and created all this opportunity for people to be gross. So that's still there. And like when TikTok started happening, I was like, oh my God, somebody's gonna come in and take advantage of these kids. And so I tried to help educate people about that stuff a little bit, but
and then the government just kind of banned it, and it went.
Well, kinda.
It went dark for 12 hours, and everyone was like, "I can't go back. It's too yeah."
Yeah.
Do you think TikTok will fully recover from what's going on with it right now? Do you think eventually they'll just forget that they banned it and stop doing these 90-day extensions?
I don't know. I think that TikTok has I'm not sure which is its biggest problem. I think it has other issues. I think that I can't really quite put my finger on it, but I feel like it isn't good at figuring out the difference between something I will watch and something that I will feel good about having watched. And that makes it so that any individual session might get longer. It's hard as a platform to figure this out. So if an individual session is long, you're like, okay, we did good. But then if that person doesn't come back for a while because they were like, actually, that sucked, and like I feel like I kind of got lied to. Like when I left, I like found stuff out where there's just so much crap, and so much inflammatory stuff. Like the outrage bait got really intense, and it just sort of like felt like it was heading down a similar trajectory to Tumblr, actually, where there was all of this energy and this cultural creation and this explosion in art and humor and like new forms of comedy, and then it all felt like it was so important that no one could do anything but the important things, and we had to. Yeah, and then if you weren't like participating in the important things, then the important thing was like making fun of my brother on. Do you know the Tumblr stories of my history of my youth? Oh my God!
But I feel like it's happening on TikTok now, where it used to be a place of
ousted from Tumblr.
Did you?
Yeah, people were very mean. They're very.
John?
Some of you know about it. Yeah, little nods, couple nods out there. No, they were very mean. They were very mean, and they said like things that were like just weird. Like they were like he writes books for kids, and so he must like kids.
Weirdo. Yeah. No, that's happening on TikTok now. It's a very tricky thing because I want to use TikTok to like fight fascism and misinformation and like get people registered to vote, and we do that.
Yeah,
but
which
then
is great.
Some random person will stitch it and be like, "No, you're wrong." And this is why, and you're a Dem, paid-fed shill.
You can always like tell a little bit of a story about how
Yeah.
people are actually bad, and it's like, yeah, that's because like we're not all perfect.
But then the story becomes about how that creator is bad and not about the LA riots or the fires or whatever the case may be. That's just social media. That's just how it goes.
There are ways to design platforms where that happens less.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that TikTok is focused on that. In part, maybe because they can't hold on to staff, and so that goes back to the weird banning and the government.
Well, how do we fight fascism? Can we?
Oh gosh.
With my movie club?
We're gonna go
With
over
Dr. Shan's movie club? Films that fight fascism?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I think that people like the thing about fascism is, just like anything else, it does not last forever, and so
It usually doesn't last very long.
Yeah, the way out is varyingly bad.
Right.
It can be very bad. It can be among the worst things that have ever happened.
Right.
Or just unqualified the worst thing that's ever happened. Like ways out of like ending the ends of governments are very bad.
Do you think we're there?
No.
I don't either.
No, I think that we're quite a ways away. It does feel really awful. There's some pretty awful effects here. There's also, I mean, important to remember, like we can't blame Donald Trump for Gaza, you know, and the sort of degeneration of international diplomacy, that feels not unrelated to the effect that brought us the backsliding of democracy in America. Like the backsliding of democracy in Israel is also real, and has also been, I think, a really big important part of this. And the incentives that head toward fascism, it's not like a bunch of bad people are able to suddenly do bad things. It's incentives get aligned, and certain kinds of folks who are good at making people scared of each other, who are good at taking control of narratives, those kinds of people get in charge, and those kinds of people oftentimes are like really not just fascist but also autocratic, and like rankle at any source of power that is not them. So suddenly the courts are the problem, and the schools are the problem, and the press is the problem, and the nonprofits are the problem, and the government is the problem. Everything that's not me, every place where power might be held except for me is corrupt, and you hear those stories. And that's beyond fascism, that's the autocrat story. The air conditioner
coming to
turned
get
on,
us.
and it is like a train. But I also like air conditioning.
I do too.
Me, love it. From Florida, very important. But yeah, I think that there's ways out, and I think that like we've seen that, you know, especially when it comes to the choices that get made when it isn't just about fascism, and it starts to feel about authoritarianism. It starts to feel about like you can see a disregard for the Constitution pretty transparently. Like America cares about the Constitution. And
As
one thing-
evidenced by the No Kings protest,
Yes.
right, which hit that 3.5% that's required to resist an autocracy.
Yeah. I mean, of course, numbers and who knows, but like, yeah, I mean, I think that
Well, a lesbian from Harvard published that study, so I tend to believe it,
Yeah,
okay?
I wanna
Dykes don't lie.
I haven't gone deep into it, but I certainly she knows more than I do. And I think that did freak some people out, and I also think that it's, you know, I think that we've got some structural problems in America. Like it's not just a Donald Trump problem. Like the way that the Democratic nomination for president went, really fucking weird. And like I think that everybody who's like high up at the Democratic Party should be really questioning that, figuring out like what allowed for that, and how do we actually, if we're going to be the Democratic Party, how do we be the more democratic of the two parties? Which at this point, fair to say, not. Like, I don't really think that we are the more democratic of the two parties.
What do you think it takes to like fix that? Sometimes I'm like, folks have to move out of the way for other people to be able to come up. It's sort of like holding the same seat of power forever.
Yeah.
Every time I get asked, they're like, what can we do to like, you know, make young people interested in the Democratic Party? I'm like, have young people?
Yeah. I mean,
Have
and like
people
mentor
like
them.
the Republican Party because they look at Lauren Boebert at one time and they're like, single mom escaped domestic violence. I resonate with that. They don't listen to her policies. That's not how voting works.
Yeah. And like I don't know, but there needs to be more carbonation. You know, there needs to be I'm not saying everybody needs to go. I'm saying that there needs to be more energy and more thought, and more risks even. You know, take a risk. That it seems like a lot of where we're at is like, oh, it's safety. Everything is about safety. Like,
Nothing
don't do anything
feels safe,
dangerous.
though. Yeah.
Right. Well, with the party trying to do make the safe choice. You know, we have to choose the person who's, and I'm like, I don't know. That's like boring, and like politics isn't built on boring.
Right.
But anyway, I don't know. I'm not even really like, I'm not a Democratic Party insider. I feel, I'm just some mouthy guy. You know, I do feel like I'm just some mouthy guy.
You have a lot of power, Hank Green.
Oh, thanks.
do.
That's terrifying. Take it back.
The kids listen to you.
Oh yeah,
You know?
you too.
Or like believe in science. I know. What do you think is going to be the rest of maybe like this year? A lot of folks are scared, right? So I always try to find safe, stable adults, which we are allegedly to some people.
Yeah.
On the internet anyway.
Yeah.
to
You're
say,
wearing a
like,
suit, so. Yeah.
You have
Somebody
on
in the audience was
jersey.
like, yeah.
We were like officials today. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm interviewing Hank Green. I have to look nice. And we're not under the desk anymore because we had to.
Yeah.
I got older and then that
Sitting,
couldn't
you
happen
can't see
anymore.
on the live stream, but we're sitting on a desk.
Sitting on the desk,
Yeah.
crisscross applesauce. A lot of times folks will come to folks like us and be like, what is going to happen to me? And I have tried to explain why nuclear war is very unlikely,
Yeah.
but it's not impossible.
Sure.
And then they're like, okay, well, that's not good enough for me, V. Like, what's your hot take on Iran and nuclear war with the 3 minutes we have left?
Oh, is it really that
What can we
little
do to tell
time?
people
Man,
to
I
feel
could do this
better?
forever. I mean, this is the thing about everything. Like science communication is so hard because you're always like, well, we could be wrong, and
Yeah.
RFK Jr. never says that.
No.
Like it's always like certainty, whole numbers, no error bars.
Yep.
And scientists are like, well, no more research is necessary.
Yeah.
And so in that way, yes, everything's possible. There could be a global nuclear war. I think that I've heard a number of people say, like, it's amazing that we've made it this long after the invention of nuclear weapons in these giant stockpiles that we haven't destroyed ourselves. And I'm like, what exactly would be the incentive to destroy ourselves?
Right.
We actually, I think, quite like living. I think most people would prefer to have the countries the country they are in charge of continue to exist.
Yeah.
They don't want to be seen as the person who ended their nation or triggered a nuclear war. So there's pretty strong incentives to not do it, is what I'd say. So not just like saying it's unlikely but wouldn't happen, but also but instead of talking about the numbers, talking about the mechanisms. So like what actually has been the reason why we haven't done this? And what is the reason why we did those escalations where we built too many nuclear weapons, like so many nuclear weapons we could destroy the Earth 10 times over or whatever the probably incorrect stat is. The question is like, okay, why did we do that? We did that just to like the way that elk grow antlers. You know, they're not going to kill each other with them. They just like want to build a big thing and be like, I'm the bigger thing. And so there was like that moment of diplomacy where for 20 years it was like, who could build the more nukes? And then there was the moment of diplomacy where it was like, well, actually, we're not going to use them.
Right.
That would be super dumb.
It would be, anybody listening, it would be super dumb.
It would be super dumb.
So dumb
There's
and
also
not chill or vibes.
And it's totally true that it would be super dumb to do a lot of the things that have happened already.
Yes.
There's a lot of super dumb shit that's gone on already that does seem counterintuitive. But if you know, I am worried. I'm worried about the like global stability, not just because here I'll say what I think is true. Not as much because I think that it's going to make it so that there's a war that kills a lot of people, but because the bigger effect will probably be that we will not have the global cooperation necessary to take on the challenges that are coming, and that will lead to the deaths of many people. Right. So we need global cooperation to handle the intensity of the impact of humans on their Earth, and we're not going to have it the way that we had it. And we didn't have it. It wasn't great for the last 20 years, but now it's a lot looser than it was even then. And people will say, like, these countries don't work together, but they do. Like, weirdly, they do. A lot of people, even though they're not binding, a lot of countries were headed toward meeting their, various climate pledge targets. You know, they don't burn coal in the UK anymore, which is where coal came from. Like zero coal-fired power plants.
What are the chimney sweeps even doing these days?
I don't know, dancing. They're all dancers now.
Chimney.
Yeah. They all wanted to be dancers in the first place.
Like it's solar now. I guess.
One of the first reasons we figured out that cancer was actually could be an environmental cause was chimney sweeps.
Really?
Yeah, they got all this chimney soot up their pants, and they got a weird kind of scrotal cancer that no one else got. So it was like
I left that out of Mary Poppins. Poor Bert.
Yeah. Bad news. So like the soot's very, and they like applied the soot to like other animals, and we're like, oh my gosh.
We learn most medical things like through capitalistic error, isn't it? Like the radium girls, the chimney.
Oh yeah, well look, everybody's
triangle shirt waistcoat fire.
Yeah, we learn a lot through our mistakes.
Through our mistakes. Oh my gosh. There is a lot to be hopeful for, and one of the things I'm hopeful for when it comes to global leadership is look at, like, the UK had their version of Donald Trump. What was that guy's name? Boris? What was his name?
Boris Johnson?
Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
He even looked like Trump. He was just as goofy and clowny and weird.
Yeah.
Now they got Keir Starmer, who's like kind of cool. He's like much better.
And also it was somewhat nice when Trump was like, America first, all other countries are terrible and we hate them. That a lot of countries were like, actually, let's not elect our version of Trump.
Yes, Canada just had their election, did fine. So I am hopeful that that someone emerges that's not already maybe in the running. Maybe we're going to get Barack Obama 2.0, not actual Barack Obama. And also Michelle Obama will never run for office. I promise you. I asked him. And he was like, 3 things are certain: death, taxes, and Michelle not running for office. Don't ever ask that again. Ever, ever, never. And tell everybody else not to ask.
Okay. Oh, well.
Yes. But like...
You got to run for office?
Oh, gosh, no.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
it
no.
sounds so bad.
No, why would I want to do that? I don't own any stocks.
Wow.
Oh!
Oh, man.
Also, I'm so scared of everything. No, I don't want to be in D.C. on the Hill. I like being under the desk in my house, making my little content.
Yeah, it's safe
telling
there.
everybody else what they should be doing, not having to get elected or
If
raise
you're gonna run
money or
for
anything.
office, let me know.
I would run for mayor of Rochester. I would love to do that job.
Hell
A
yeah.
local politics job, school board, stuff like that. Heck yeah, I think that's super important.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Congress, like low, but not like
I
like
asked
to be
you
a
if you were
flashy
going to run for
Congress.
office. You said no.
Local,
Clearly,
state Congress,
all you-
state
Oh,
Congress,
state Congress.
Rochester
Okay.
Congress.
Well,
yes.
still, that's very much running for office. You're
Yeah,
like,
but I could, like,
well,
do that with a
I asked you if you're going to be
TikTok
running for
and
office,
win. I
and you were
wouldn't
like,
have
no,
to,
I
like-
I wouldn't run for the office. The only thing I can imagine is I would either be a congressperson or president.
Yes.
Those are the.
No, I wouldn't want to be federal policy because I just
No,
like I can't
very
again I
hard.
can't hold my face together or my attention, and I cannot sit in a room with Ted Cruz. I just can't
Yeah.
do it. I know my limits. Okay.
Yeah, good for you.
No, I would not run for office, but I think other people should because we have to kind of like spread
I know.
the wealth. Of
I
it.
always want to say like, no, I'm not going to run for office, but I don't want to say why because it would discourage people from doing it.
But there's different people who are more brave than me,
That's right.
and so I'm
There
like,
are
you need
there
to
are
get out
braver
there
people.
and do the thing. And also, I think my particular skill is not necessarily. I don't have the confidence to say I could represent an entire, like a senator has to represent half the state. Like I don't have that kind of confidence. But Rochester, I could do. You know, like I know those people. I know what we want. I could get that done. But different people have different levels. You know. And I just don't have that level of sociopath to ever want to be like the president.
Oh God,
I
what
want
a
to be
weird
something
thing.
cool, like I don't know, the assistant secretary of
a comptroller.
special events at the White House, like something dope. Like you get to throw the Christmas party. Like I would be great at that.
Somebody's got to do that.
Somebody does, yeah, that's a real job, social secretary.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know that Trump has one, but because he doesn't like the gays, and it's usually a gay. Oscar was Biden's, and he was phenomenal. Did you see the decorations this year? Oh, they were
Lovely.
good.
I believe you. I didn't look.
It was good. It was a good time. It's not Thursday, but for next Thursday when we have good news only.
Uh-huh.
What's some good news that you have that's like keeping you going? What's in your hope scroll right now?
You really should have asked me before this so I could think of something.
You could say anything. Yeah.
What's my good news? I mean, I think a lot about cancer treatment. And this is something where things continue to move. Medicine is actually having like a moment. I feel like that just like biotechnology is really intense right now, and the ways in which we are helping people continue to expand in ways that like I kind of felt like maybe we were stuck for a little while. Feels unstuck right now. Feels like there's a huge amount of opportunity, and of course, cancers are all different from each other, which makes it an exceptionally difficult disease. But I've lost a lot of friends to cancer, and there are now friends who I have lost who I wouldn't have just 10 years later. So that always feels good.
That is good. It's good. That's why I do good news on Thursdays, and it's typically science news because there's always like creative little nerds out there doing cool stuff.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
I found a new bug. Do you want to see it? I'm like, yeah, I do. Look for the cool bugs,
Your new
right?
bug.
Any advice for the audience as they go through the rest of VidCon? What's your like must-do thing at VidCon?
Oh, carrying a granola bar at all times.
Yeah, you gotta have the kind bars. 100%. Stay hydrated.
Uh-huh.
I would have said jump in the Squishmallows, but they're not here this year.
Oh,
This
yeah,
year there's different stuff. There's like Hello
There's a
Kitty
lot of
stuff
good
down there.
stuff out there.
Labubu? Are you into Labubu?
I've like learned about Labubu yesterday.
Yeah.
And then
They'll
several
have a
people
Hank Green Labubu out by
since then
tonight. They work
said that-
fast.
Raise your hand if you know what a Labubu is.
Yeah,
all right.
Because this is cool people. They know what stuff is.
Okay, well that was about 50-50, so you insulted a lot of people just now.
Well, the other half are excited to learn. By the time we leave here, we all know what Labubus are.
Yeah, I still don't really. Someone showed me a
It's
picture
like a
of them on their
Beanie
phone.
Baby for
Yeah.
this generation, I guess.
But yeah, I'm like an AFMAO guy.
Oh, what's that?
There's like these adorable little cats that a YouTube creator has created this giant influential stuffy business that also has a huge little like a whole fair thing going on in the expo hall here.
Okay, we'll go to the Makers Hall, check that out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
follow Hank Green. If you guys didn't know who he was, this is Hank Green. You can follow him at Hank Green.
On TikTok, I'm Hank Green 1.
That's right. Did somebody take Hank
Yeah.
Green?
I got there a little too late.
Oh my God. somebody took underthedesknews.com, and then I found out it was this like lady from Ohio who's a photographer who like literally bought it and was like, "Oh, I wanted to keep it to like extort you." So
Really?
we got it.
I've
I
had
probably
people-
shouldn't have said that, but my manager's here. But I was so pissed. She's like, "I was a fan." I'm like, "Girl, that's not
Give it
fan
then.
behavior."
I've had fans buy things and then give them to me.
Well, I've had fans buy things and give them to me because they're like looking out for you.
Yeah,
The dust
they're like,
bunnies are
"Oh,
good."
somebody's gonna buy this.
Like on Snapchat and stuff, they're like, "I got this, okay?
Oh, wow.
Here it is. It's good." Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I love it. Thanks for visiting, Hank Green.
Yeah, of course.
It's always so fun to chat with you. It's like the
My
best little ADHD train ride.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't answer some of the questions about halfway through, and I want to go back now.
Okay.
It's like
Start the clock again. Okay? What's one question you want to go back to that you're like, I gotta answer this one?
like how do you can you push back against fascism? And yes, and there's many examples in history, and it really does involve like normalizing it, making it so that somebody somebody on TikTok said humanize before they could militarize. So if like someone, you probably have somebody in your life who's like super sympathetic to the Trump administration. If they know that you're in the street and somebody in the street gets hurt by the police, then they see that that could have been you. And they know you're not a crazy person. They know you're not Antifa. And so like being out there matters. Being out there matters. And like it isn't about like, it isn't always, like sometimes it's about stopping something from happening. It's like being in the way of ICE. But most of the time it's just about, I am here showing you that it has gotten too bad for me to stay inside. And I think that it's amazing how much that matters. And it really is, we're so social. It really is like these little things that can do a lot of healing. When you cut your arm, your body doesn't cut like a tree will sometimes do this when there's like an injury in a branch, it just like sheds that whole branch. That's not how societies are. If there's an injury, it takes a lot of little things all working together to stitch the thing back together. It doesn't just reject that thing and say, we don't need it anymore, we're going to cut it off.
I love that. That's a good thought.
Okay.
You got to show up.
Yeah.
It made me. Did you guys go to No Kings protests? Anyone?
Woo!
I called them demonstrations because I didn't necessarily feel like total protest. It felt like a gathering.
Yeah.
And because there were so many of them in all the little neighborhoods, it was like the Brighton neighborhood had like all the nice little old Jewish ladies who wouldn't have gone to a downtown Rochester protest, but
Right.
they came to Brighton.
Yeah.
And I think there's such hope in that, and we're going to continue to do a bunch of that. Follow Hank Green, follow Under the Desk News, follow our anti-fascist film situation with Dr. Shan. What's your @ now? At Shannon Mankus, okay? We're gonna push it out there. Films to fight fascism, and then we talk about them, because also group watching movies is a form of resistance. It doesn't all have to be in the streets. It could be we're all gonna watch the same movie today and then talk about it, or read a book, or read a magazine, or shit talk a fascist from history. Behind the Bastards podcast, really healing to me. I like to know about the bad guys and why they're bad. I just learned that Trump failed at flute lessons, and I was like, well, that explains it. You have to let little boys have art, okay, guys? Where it's the same story every time. Thank you, Hank.
Thank you,
for being
V.
here. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Thanks, Spotify.
Woo.